Let's talk comics, shall we? My name's Anthony. I've been a comic book reader for about 40 years. I did the endeavor of trying to own a store at one time. Well, gotta figure out how that one went. But it wasn't a learning experience, and it was right at 2014-ish, 2015-ish, right when Marvel kind of changed over. So bad timing on my part. But I don't totally hate the experience. I got to know a little bit more about the inside and outs and how these things work with numbers. But besides that, that's what we're here for. We're actually here for a comic review. Comic review of a series that I wasn't anticipating getting into for many, many reasons. One, it's a Marvel book. Actually, I don't even know if you should count it as Marvel anymore. I say Disney Marvel. It's a Disney Marvel book, which is every Marvel book now. So I wasn't buying any of it for many, 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 many reasons. Some of you old heads absolutely know immediately what I'm talking about. Even a lot of you new people do as well. But I refused to buy it for the longest time until I heard, let's say it correctly, how good Ultimate Spider-Man was. It was almost unbelievable to hear that. And I was like, there's no way that they're not writing typical Marvel Disney books. So I gave it a chance. I read it, and I was just like, wow, this is quite possibly one of the best Spider-Man, not written, but layouts of storytelling I've liked in a very, 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 very long time. I even gave, that big Spider-Man relaunch that happened in 2015 or so, where he took over Osborn Corporation or something like that, and I like that idea, but without his wife by his side, it's an empty platitude, so it didn't work. With Ultimate Spider-Man, I really like the idea of this is a man, married, kids, middle of his life. What do you do now? You get the power as Spider-Man as opposed to as a 16-year-old teenage boy. I like that concept. He's already a man with his own thoughts, beliefs, and so forth. He has to take his family as a priority first and foremost. Ultimate Spider-Man was almost written like an apology letter for the Mephisto storyline, where he gave away Mary Jane to save Aunt May. I'm like, Aunt May's like 98 by now. She ain't got much time left. You literally destroyed your marriage over it. If anything, Aunt May would have said no immediately. Tough shit. I'm not going. Or back, I should say. So I thought that storyline was absolute garbage, and it tainted Spider-Man for decades. It really did. But we're actually not here to talk about Spider-Man or Ultimate Spider-Man, even though I did for the last 5 minutes. Go figure. We're actually here to talk about the Ultimates. The first time with Mark Millar, or Millar, and Brian Hitch with the Ultimates. I actually love the first two series of the Ultimates. Thought that was really good reading. And I didn't take when a lot of things happened in there completely to heart, because it was literally written as a Elseworld story, right? So you can't get that too offended. The problem with a lot of modern comics is if an Elseworld story gets the slightest bit of uptick or chat or on Twitter gets talked about, Marvel tries to make the new characters the old world characters, and it's garbage. Look at so many of these characters are just alternate versions of our new versions that just mimic the alternate version. It's really dumb. Alternate versions are alternate versions for a reason. Keep the characters who they are for a reason. So when I picked up Ultimates, this relaunch, issue 1 felt very... I liked it a little bit because I'm one of those people that can fill in the blanks very easily. Been reading again for easy 40 years. I think I was 9 years old first time I grabbed one of my brother's comic books and started reading it. And I think it was probably Daredevil. I think in the 80s, early 80s, it was Alpha Flight. And of course, Conans that were laying around, especially those big Savage Sword of Conans. I was drawn to those. So with this one, this Ultimates line, sorry, I don't have my lights on, so using natural light for this because it just looks better. Juan Vergari and Denise Comp. I don't have anything bad to say about the art. I actually like the art a lot. Pacing of the story is another thing entirely. This one felt like this is part 3, and it's book 1. You just, I know it has to do with time travel, so the continuity, chronological orders are off. I understand that. That doesn't bother me. What bothered me is we get in here instantly and Thor's already injured. Spoilers. Things have happened and not much is filled in. I'm assuming they're going to fill it in later. Assuming, mind you. And I know there was a one-shot Ultimate Invasion that I probably need to read. But there should be some sort of context to it. It's like, hey, pick up Ultimate Invasion. This is continue from that or something. Let us know. So it was disjointing through the beginning. I absolutely enjoyed Henry Pym and Van Dyne as two bug exterminators. I did also really like how she was like, no, I have always wanted something else in life other than this. And she instantly grasped to that wasp concept, because it's basically locked in her being of who she is. Okay, Windows. Eat a bag of Doritos. I was going to say something else. And I like that Pym, when he got his orb, got to see the alternate versions of himself, and he didn't like what he saw. Especially if you go to 616, dude, he created Ultron, he became Yellow Jag, he was a villain for a while. Ultimates universe, he literally beat the crap, almost killed his wife because the suit was driving him insane. Or not the suit, the shrinking, it was affecting his brain. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's other people that could do it too that didn't get affected as him, so he's still responsible for his own actions. But I like that he had to struggle with that. Not a struggle session, but internal struggle. And he was like, hey, I might have, now I know what the options are. Make sure I don't go that route. Please don't write him back into that stupid route over again. It's like Henry Pym is like Marvel's punching bag if you ever want to make a bad male character. Just do it to Pym. It's like, it's getting old, guys. Stop. So, issue 1 was okay. Thor got healed miraculously, even though he's literally bleeding out with a puddle of blood in him in one panel, and he's flying around with Sif the next, just holding his stomach like, oh, I got a tummy ache. So it's not told very linearly. You have to put a lot together yourself just by reading the panels. I'm talking art wise as well as what's written in context. Like I said, I wanted to see where it was going. The art I did like. The story of the first book, I liked. I liked the concept of playing a game of leapfrog between what's his name? It's not Kid Iron Man, or it might be. I don't know. Just call him Iron Man. Tony's gone. Him being Iron Man. The Doom read. Absolutely love it. I love the fact that they have a Doom read as a good guy, or somewhat good guy. And then the Maker, who's clearly not even just an Reed as a different character. No, that is Reed Richards from the Ultimate Universe that went evil, and he's a great villain. I liked him a lot in 616. Liked him a lot in Ultimate Universe back when it started with Marvel Zombies and all that way back in the day. Unfortunately, after Ultimatum, there wasn't a lot of kinetic energy, or if there was none left in the Ultimates, or the Ultimate line. And so the next series that it had him as the major villain didn't sell for shit because nobody was buying the series, because Ultimatum just pretty much killed all momentum that comic book line had. So we're getting to issue 2. Major issues. Well, not major issues because it's only issue 2, but you know what I mean. Major issues with the storytelling. The art was on point again, although Van Dyne in that last panel looked really, really odd. But the art was still pretty good. The storytelling, I absolutely. How many minutes into this am I? Okay, I could probably say it. The storytelling's fucking horrible in that second one. The symbolism, or the symbology. No, symbolism. The symbolism in the panels, and even in the writing. I don't know if this is intentional by the writer and the editor. Stop. We're sick of this shit. The world is sick of this shit. This country specifically is sick of this shit. Stop. And if you read that issue, again, I could be completely reading it wrong. Absolutely, that is a possibility. And if you have a different take, please say so. Cordially. But it's garbage. It's utter garbage. There's nothing redeemable about issue 2. Captain America through the whole thing is, let's save America, let's save America, let's save America, because America was decolonized, broken up, done whatever, destroyed in 1968 in the Ultimate Universe, in this Ultimate Universe anyways. So it makes no sense to say let's save America, because America literally doesn't exist in that world. It's a different like regions now. That doesn't bother me in the slightest bit. It's sci-fi. It's alternate world. So, okay. No big deal. But then they have, of course, super business. This is where I'm going to rant a little. I am going to get a little bit on the political side, only because it read that way. This seemed very messaged. And again, I'm not infallible. I could be completely wrong with this, reading with emotion instead of logic. Okay? But when you see so much of this in current modern day media of any type, book, novels, comics, graphic novels, thank God no manga, at least very, very little of it, movies, even in the commercials, everything. Politics are in everything, and we get into these things to escape from this crap. It's in our lives every day now. And, well, I get away from it. That's why I read these books. So when they beat up the rich white guy in the White House who bought his way there. He's disrespecting Tony Stark by wearing his first golden armor. Kind of like giving somebody a flute to play, I guess you could say. So they beat the shit out of him. You come to find out that he's been using a space immigrant as a power source. And I'm just using this term because it's our end of this, because it's so blatant. It's obvious. And so they're using somebody that's not from this world, right? An immigrant who's brown in skin tone, even though if they're from another world, that should take no effect. And it's either she is, I don't know, in this world, or clearly her parents are two lesbians. She comes from a planet of all women. Let's save America. It's America Chavez. Yeah, my Ultimates boner just died. My chubby went to chibi really quickly. And I'm going to open up this issue. Again, it could be all me. And I could be reading this completely wrong. You're like, dude, it's just coincidence. Okay. All right. Then you know what? Especially by comic book readers, not just pop culture dickheads that don't even read comics or never read comics and just read Wikipedia and saw a couple Marvel movies and think they know everything. No, actual comic book readers. If you say I'm over exaggerating, okay, Sorrel, I could be. But there we go. Superheroes carrying a migrant brown space lesbian with the White House burning behind them. Right? They burnt down the White House, and she's saying, America, we just saved America by burning down the White House and destroying the powers to be that were in there. Granted, they weren't, governmental voted in positions. Somebody bought their way and, controlled the White House from there. And it wasn't like the center of the government like it is in our real world. But still, the symbolism, in my opinion, is there. Seems a little bit heavy-handed and gross. It's fucking gross. I'm sick of this shit. I will give issue 3 a chance. I want to see what they do with the Native American Hawkeye that's going to appear in the Ultimates, since Clint just threw away the Hawkeye uniform. And please show where that this kid got the uniform, because it clearly shows him throwing it in the trash and walking away. It's a la Spiderman cover where he throws his uniform in the trash and walks away. I'm trying to remember what issue that was. I know he's walking away on 50, but I don't think it's the trash episode, the trash can. I think that one came later. Anyways, yeah, it's to the point where I don't want to read this anymore. I'll still be collecting Ultimate Spider-Man because I don't want to give Disney money anyways. Although I did for Deadpool and Wolverine. I'll admit that. And I'll make a video on that as well. I'm still going to buy Ultimate Spider-Man because of the respect they give to the character. I could put up with bad writing. I could put up with bad art. As long as the character is done respectfully and the story is at least mediocre and fits in a logical, chronological step, and if you are going to bounce through time, leave breadcrumbs to let us know, how the situation is playing out and so forth. Sorry, Ultimates isn't doing it. I'm going to give it till issue 5. If I see any more like crap like in issue 2, I'm going to be done with it immediately. And that could happen in the next issue, and I'll just drop it. I don't care. That's going to save me $5 a month. But there's certain things that literally get under my skin, like that image. Right? But, because, don't get me wrong. If that was written better, right? There was a silver understanding of the story of Midas and how he overthrew the White House, and they got hints of this and that. There's no build up. There's nothing to this. It's just all of a sudden you're attacking the White House out of the fucking blue, screaming "Save America," and you pull out America Chavez, who is a cancer, not because the character itself, but it's strictly innate to what that character represents. And if you're not in the know, you're not in the know. I'm not going to sit there and go into it. But there's a certain motif. It's just like, okay, what's another character that has a lot of bad stigma around it and people hate it? I don't know. How I was with Deadpool in the 90s. I couldn't stand Deadpool. Still can't stand Deadpool, the comic book character. Absolutely hate him. I do like Deadpool in the movies. Just better writing. See? You can have a character that I don't like, write them well, and I will like them. Just like I can't stand the new Captain Marvel. And when I mean new, I mean her personality, not the character. Character's been around for a couple decades, written well by many writers, male and female. But somehow, I think the last time she was written well was in her own miniseries where she was fighting the Brood, which came right after the New Avengers, I believe, where her and I believe it was her and Sentry were going against Ultron because Ultron destroyed everybody else. That was awesome. I loved every part of it, and I love the fact that Ultron screwed up by killing Sentry's wife. And well, that was the end of Ultron. So, yeah. So I would say Ultimates has been a letdown. Not just the comic book, but the line. The X-Men is garbage. Although if it was called anything other than Ultimates X-Men, whatever the character's name is, Armor. I think that's Karma. Trying to remember which character that is. No, she's Japanese, and I believe Karma is Chinese. Trying to remember who this character is. Anyways, if it was just called Ultimate Her, no problem. It's a little girl story. She's going around collecting other little girls with superpowers. Okay, cool. Magical fairy girl story we've seen in anime a billion times, but with American comic book characters. Cool. Do it. That's nothing wrong with that. But that's not an X-Men. Not in any way, shape, or form. That's really bad. It's not selling very well either, from what I understand. Ultimate Black Panther, had no interest in. Sorry. I don't think Marvel or DC knows how to write black characters or any characters, let alone anything with nuance or anything that would take actual talent and thinking. There are some writers that still are good. They're just not given a lot of good material, unfortunately. Right now, the guy who's writing Ultimate Spiderman, if they move him off that book, I'm done. Simple as that. So this is a little meandering rant about Ultimates universe, Ultimates 1 and 2, a little bit about Spider-Man, and a little bit about me. By all means, you can disagree, or you could say, hey, dude, you got to read this. And I'll give it a try. I'll pick it up. And if it's good, I'll shout you out. I'll be like, yeah, you're right. This was really good. Because I've been wrong on plenty of books I thought were going to be shit, or movies or TV shows. And thankfully, we're wrong. I'm glad I was wrong because I enjoyed them. But usually I would say I have about a 85-90% accuracy when it comes to things I know I'm not going to like ahead of time. Because most previews tell you everything ahead of time anyways. That's what I liked about the preview for Longleg. They didn't tell you shit. That's how all previews should be. Anyways, I hope I didn't bore you too much with old man meandering and yapping. But this is kind of the way I talk to people. You know, you gotta pause, let somebody rebuttal. You can't just talk. It's something I'm going to have to get used to. Dead air space and no ums, ahs, and e's and uhs and derps and does and farts and whatever. But I'll get better. Make better videos, better lighting, hopefully better camera. Don't have to use my phone. And we will talk to you later.